Everybody, welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. You know I got another banger for you, so kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
Guys, we got to talk about the number one player in high school basketball right now, potential number one draft pick in the next couple of years, who is completely changing the landscape of NIL at this moment, and that is Dybantsa, who is at Utah Prep, went to Prolific Prep last season, balled out, and some eyebrows were raised when he just decided to leave Prolific Prep, playing with one of his best friends, one of his closest buddies, and Tyron Stokes, who's the number one junior in this year in the high school ranks. So it raised some eyes. They had a squad coming back and definitely would have been competing for a Dick's National Championship. Makes the move to Utah. It raised some eyebrows. And then he went on the visit to BYU, and people were like, do they have a legitimate shot? Then the news broke that BYU, the Cougars, were ready and willing to offer almost $5 million in a major, groundbreaking, record-breaking NIL deal. Yo, when high school players are getting near $5 million, the game has changed. Now, this is no regular high school, I want to say. Now, Dybantsa, 6'7", 220, out there moving like KD, big wing, elite shot maker from anywhere on the floor, beautiful, fluid, nice delivery, jumper, rotation on the basketball, long, can get it off the dribble, has no problem shooting over smaller defenders or hitting the fadeaway, bullying bigger defenders or blowing by them or bullying smaller defenders. It really don't matter. The kid's a walking mismatch. And at 6'9", he's a legitimate 6'9", first off. And, he's a legitimate perimeter wing at 6'9", who does everything well at this point. We're talking about a generational talent. So definitely not small potatoes. Definitely not an ordinary talent. And he's commanding not ordinary money, if you know what I'm saying. Getting into it a little bit further with the details. He's the consensus number one player in the class of 2025, and BYU is throwing the bag. Pete Nakos of On3 reported, multiple sources tell On3 Sports that the number one recruit, Dybantsa, is expected to land an NIL package worth north of $3 million and could get as high as $4 million. A source close to BYU said $4 to $4.5 million is what they are prepared to play for the number one prep player in the country. We mentioned 6'9", 210 is at Utah Prep, so they're getting very good viewing of him. They're sending 4 coaches deep to the Border League to watch him play. They are throwing the house at this young man, and he's in their backyard, which, is definitely an advantage. He's also considering Alabama, North Carolina, Kansas, Kansas State, Auburn, and USC. Schools like USC, Alabama, even Kansas could definitely scrounge up the funds, but are they going to want to pay almost $5 million for one player? That's a roster that you're paying for right there. So it really just depends. Now, we know he just knocked off the Boozer twins in the Border League and had 28 points, including 5 3-pointers in a 69-68 win over Columbus High School. And Cameron Boozer, number 2 prospect in the nation, played well also, but Dybantsa also showed their separation and that it's levels to this and the reason why he's the number one player in the league. And we mentioned that BYU had 4 coaches deep to watch Dybantsa destroy the competition. Now, this is a lot of pressure. This is a lot of hype when you start talking about that type of money. But y'all see the highlights. Y'all see the stats. This kid is worth it. He's box office. And for BYU to land the number one player in the nation is absolutely nuts. He would easily, without a doubt, hands down, be the highest rated prospect player, signee, there we go, that they have ever signed. And we're talking about a program, they just lost their head coach to Kentucky, Coach Pope. But I will say, man, they've won 20-plus games in the last 3 seasons. We remember Jimmer Fredette helped put these guys on the map. And traditionally, BYU is not considered a Power 5, like, elite level school, man. They're good at football, typically solid in basketball, but you typically viewed as a mid-major, definitely on the rise. But now they find themselves in the Big 12, so they're playing on the big stage, and he will have no lack of exposure going to BYU. That move to the Big 12 is an absolute game changer. But the fact that they're willing to go all in, because he's only going to be there for a season. Let's keep it 100, people. He is definitely one and done, number one NBA draft pick, at least top 3, and he's up out of there. So to have him for one season, what kind of economic impact could he have to lead the way for them to land future blue chip recruits? It's the lasting impact. Not just one season, but a legacy that he could leave and continue to promote them as he is on his way to NBA stardom. But the NIL deals are getting crazy, and high school kids getting it out like this before even playing a college game? When you got schools like BYU, who people are saying these bigger schools are making it unfair, it's like an open market free agency like the Yankees and Dodgers in baseball. But when you got schools like BYU scrounging up money and they can throw dang near $5 million at one player, man, the game has absolutely changed, y'all. But he is a player that is changing the landscape and laying the foundation for what other top players could make down the line in the future, man. So it'll be exciting to see, but 6'9", super skilled, athletic, shoots it well, already NBA range, great mid-range game, pulls it up off the dribble. Like, the kid is insane. He's definitely going to live up to the hype and be an elite level player, a potential national player of the year that should definitely help them get into the NCAA tournament. And if they land him, who's to say they don't get a couple more 5-star recruits? Because players are definitely going to want to play with a player like AJ, man. Just super talented, a winner, and a team player that's going to give us all a true leader. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, though. Give me y'all's reaction to this news. That is a wrap for us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up with all the latest and the greatest. Join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Follow us on social media at Brandon Lee TV as well. That is a wrap for us. Until next time, we out.